Subject Water Resource Engineering. Today I'll start a new chapter, that is flood routing. Okay, so this is the last chapter of the hydrology. Okay, what is this flood routing? Flood routing, it is the technique of determining flood hydrograph at a section of a river by utilizing the data of flood flow at one or more upstream section. It means that this is the river, this is the channel or river. Okay, determination of the hydrograph, that is called outflow hydrograph at any particular section. Let at this section, okay, this hydrograph, determination of this outflow hydrograph from the inflow hydrograph, the hydrograph at any upstream section. Okay, usually the hydrograph which is given at the upstream of a section of a river, upstream section of a river, is called inflow hydrograph, and the hydrograph that we are going to determine at any of the downstream section is called outflow hydrograph. Okay, so simply saying, determination of outflow hydrograph from inflow hydrograph is called flood hydrouting. This flood routing is required for flood frequency analysis, flood protection, reservoir design, and spillway design. Okay, for all these things, this flood routing is essential. Okay, so there is two broad categories of this flood routing. Okay, based on which means based on the where we are going to apply this routing. This one is reservoir routing, another is channel routing. Okay, if in reservoir we are doing the routing, means we are determining the outflow hydrograph, that is called reservoir routing. If in the channel, simply in the channel, if we are determining the outflow hydrograph, that is called channel routing. So first, what is this reservoir routing? Let's discuss. Here this is the reservoir. Okay, this is the reservoir. Determination of outflow hydrograph, that means determination of discharge versus time. Means how much water is flowing through the spillway or through the undersluice, whatever the water releasing space is there. Okay, that means that is the spillway is there, so that the discharge, okay, that discharge with respect to time, this hydrograph, that is called outflow hydrograph, is determined, okay, using the inflow hydrograph. Inflow hydrograph means the water which is entering into the reservoir, okay. In this reservoir case, since here the structure means dam is constructed, and it is disturbing the natural flow, and through the spillway the water is flowing. So water, again I'm just saying that water can flow, or you can release the water through a dam by two ways, by spillway and by undersluice. Okay, this is the dam, this is the dam, so it has spillway, undersluice, this is the undersluice portion, and it has the spillway portion. Okay, the spillway portion, the spillway section, this is called non-overflow section. Overflow section I'm trying here. Okay, this is the overflow section of a dam. So water can be supplied here in this undersluice. Water can be supplied over the spillway. Okay, usually first, when flood enters in the reservoir, to release the excess water, first this undersluice is used. These are the undersluice gates will be there. Okay, the undersluice is used because it helps to remove the sediments. Okay, sediments are deposited behind the dams, okay, in the reservoir. So to remove these sediments, usually the undersluice are preferred. After opening all the gates of the undersluice, if again the water is rising in the reservoir, then only the spillway gates are open. These are the spillway gates. Okay, the spillway gates are opened. Otherwise, spillway gates usually, these are called crest gate. These are also called crest gate. Usually, crest gates are not usually opened. Okay, initially the undersluice gates are opened. After opening all the gates, again if water again is rising in the reservoir, again it is required to release some water, then spillway gates are opened or the crest gates are opened. Usually in the here in the Hirakud reservoir, in the Mahanadi Dam, in its lifetime period, I think twice or thrice these crest gates are opened. Always undersluice gates are opened. Okay, so this is the concept about the water removal in the flood season. Okay, in the dam. So since it is due to the dam, it is disturbing the natural structure, natural flow of the river, and it is storing some water. So using this inflow hydrograph, the outflow hydrograph is calculated, and only using this inflow hydrograph, this outflow hydrograph cannot be determined. Another two plots required. One is volume elevation curve of the reservoir. Volume elevation characteristic, that is a volume elevation curve of the reservoir that is required. For a reservoir it is constant. This curve is constant, remains constant. Okay, for different reservoir it is different. Okay, and the outflow elevation relationship. The outflow elevation relationship, that means that depends upon the spillway. Spillway or other outlet structures like undersluice or any other outlet structures. So this outflow elevation is specific, is fixed for that particular spillway. For different means for different reservoir it will have different spillway dimension. So that outflow hydrograph, outflow elevation relationship, that will be different. But for a particular reservoir there will be particular type of spillway, and outflow elevation curve, okay, that remains constant. So using the inflow hydrograph, volume elevation of the reservoir, volume elevation curve, outflow elevation curve of the spillway. The outflow curve hydrograph, outflow hydrograph is determined. That is called reservoir routing. Okay, in reservoir routing, the effect of flood wave entering a reservoir is studied. And this form reservoir routing is essential in the design capacity of the spillway. Why it is required? It's how much water is coming into the reservoir and how much water we can release with respect to time. That if you can determine, then this capacity of spillway, that we can design. Other reservoir outlet structures, okay, the geometry can be determined. So the location and sizing of the capacity reservoir, in the location of the reservoir and sizing capacity of the reservoir, that is also can be determined, okay, using this route, this reservoir routing. Next is channel routing. Channel routing, the change in shape of the hydrograph as it travels down a channel is studied. By using channel characteristics and input hydrograph at the upstream end, the flood hydrograph at various sections of the downstream reach is evaluated. Like here, this is a watershed of of a river. That here the inflow hydrograph, the hydrograph is given at a particular that is known at a upstream section, that is called inflow hydrograph. That is available. But here are the downstream section at these points, okay, the outflow hydrograph we don't know, means the discharge hydrograph, means the hydrograph we don't know are these downstream sections. So to determine the discharge hydrograph, okay, hydrograph these downstream sections, using this hydrograph of upstream section is called channel routing. If a route means here it say if you route, the shape of the hydrograph changes. Gradually it becomes flat towards the downstream. In the upstream it was skewed. Towards the downstream its peak reduces and the base time increases. The base time increases, the peak that decreases. Okay, the peak decreases. Okay, here it is the peak, here it is the peak. So the shape of the hydrograph changes as it travels, okay, travels down the channel. And this reduction of the peak from here to here, from this value to this value, that is called, this is the inflow hydrograph of any particular upstream station. This is the inflow hydrograph of upstream station. That is the outflow hydrograph that is we have determined at any downstream section. The difference of the peak, discharge is called attenuation. It means it is attenuated. The hydrograph is attenuated, means the peak is reduced. Okay, and the time of peak, the difference of the time of peak is called lag. This is the time of peak for the outflow hydrograph. This is the time of peak for the inflow hydrograph. So this difference is called lag. Okay, flood peak attenuation and the duration of flood often by channel routing is utmost important in flood forecasting and flood protection works. Whenever the rainfall is occurring at any downstream region, in the upstream region, upstream region of the watershed, let in this region what heavy rainfall occurs. How to know the discharge, when the peak will come, and what will be the value of the peak discharge at this section, are the other downstream sections, so that we can prepare for our flood management. Okay, we can prepare for rehabilitation or something. Okay, for displacing people or something. Okay, the flood management we can do. And if there is a reserve, how many gates we should release. Okay, for that we have to prepare for that. So for that heavy rainfall, if it is occurring at the upstream region of a watershed, and when it will come, means time of peak. That is the time of peak when it will come, and how much it will come. That is called peak discharge. Outflow peak discharge, this QP. So here this QP and the time P, TP, time of peak, okay, that is required. And for how many days this plot will remain, okay, in this section, in this region, okay. These things can be determined by these channel routing. Okay, so the flood peak attenuation and duration of flood obtained by channel routing is important for flood forecasting and flood protection works. So this is about channel routing. Next is methods of flood routing. Depends upon the different methods we are using for the routing. Okay, like we discussed in where we are going to apply this, where we are going to determine the flow hydrograph, that is, it can be at reservoir, it can be at channel, that is called reservoir routing and channel routing. But here, based on the method on which this routing is done, that is called based on this, there is two classification. There is two method. One is hydrologic routing, another is hydraulic routing. In a hydrologic routing, it uses the equation of continuity, but in hydraulic routing it uses both continuity and momentum equation. The most popular and the famous equation of continuity for an unsteady flow, that is called Saint-Venant equation. Saint-Venant equation of continuity, that is del Q by del X plus T del Y by del T is equal to 0. Here T is the top width, Y is the flow depth, T is the time, D is the X is the distance, longitudinal distance along the river, and this is the discharge, Q is the discharge. And this continuity equation that already we have discussed in the open channel flow. Saint-Venant differential equation for momentum for unsteady flow is del Y by del X plus V by G del V by del X plus 1 by G del V by del T is equal to S naught minus SF, where S naught is bed slope and SF is the total energy slope, means that water surface slope, not water surface, that is called energy slope. Okay, That is called energy flow, total energy flow. So hydraulic routing uses both equation, this continuity equation and this energy equation, this momentum equation. Hydrologic routing uses only continuity equation. So here only we will discuss this hydrologic routing. Hydraulic routing is not required now. It's not required. It is not essential at this level. Okay. Only we will discuss only hydrologic routing. Okay. What is this hydrologic routing? I told that it uses the continuity equation, means how much water is coming and how much water is leaving. Total inflow should be equal to total outflow. In between, if there is any storage, then that inflow rate minus outflow rate will become the storage rate. Okay, this is the discharge, means inflow discharge minus outflow discharge is equal to change in storage. S is the storage in volume, that is the volume. Volume, it will be volume per unit time. So if you take time interval delta t for a particular time delta t, then it will be I delta t, I average delta t minus Q average delta t minus equal to change in this storage from this in this time interval delta t. Using the average value, if you take in between this delta t, with T1, delta t is T1 minus T2. At T1, if I1 is the inflow, at T2 is I2 is inflow, and Q1 and Q2 are the outflow at T1 and T2 respectively, and S2 and S1, this S1 and S2 are the storage at T1 and T1 time respectively. Then we can write this equation, average of this inflow I1 plus I2 by 2 into delta T, okay, minus Q1 plus Q2 by delta by 2 into delta T is equal to S2 minus S1, okay, over the time period delta T. So this we can write in this form, that I1 plus I2 by 2 delta T plus S1 minus Q1 by 2 delta T is equal to S2 plus Q2 by 2 delta T. This equation we have to remember, this is the hydrologic routing equation. Using this equation, the routing is carried out. Next is hydrologic routing, hydrologic reservoir routing. First we will discuss reservoir routing. Okay, hydrologic reservoir routing using modified pulse method. Using this method, one popular method that is called modified pulse method. So here, before going into this routing, first we should know the storage, initial storage. Before coming that, before the water is joining to the storage, to the reservoir, the initial storage, initial volume of water in the reservoir, that should be known, and initial outflow discharge, means Q1 should be known. Q1 should be known. Okay. Here I am saying that already I told that in reservoir routing, storage elevation curve that is required. Elevation, this discharge elevation, means outflow discharge versus elevation, that is required for a spillway. Is for different spillway it is constant. This for reservoir it is constant. And inflow hydrograph already means the inflow hydrograph, how much water is joining to the reservoir, that is required. So these three things required, okay, in the routing process. For a elevation, if storage we know, initial storage, then elevation can be determined from that plot. From that elevation, Q can be determined. From the inflow hydrograph, we have computed the average inflow I1 plus I2 by 2. For an initial, and this is determined, we have to choose the delta T. First, we have to choose the delta T. Over that delta T, this average is done. For an initial outflow, obtained from S curve, means here there is a link with the elevation, S with E and Q with E. If S we know the initial storage, from that initial storage the Q can be determined, because elevation can be determined from that curve, from that elevation Q can be determined. So initial outflow, that is Q1, and the S1 must be known. So we can compute this S1 minus Q1 by 2 delta T. Now S2 plus Q2 by delta T can be calculated using this hydrologic routing equation. Okay. And next Qt can be obtained. Q2 can be obtained from the curve S plus Q by 2 delta T. If S and Q we know, okay, with this elevation, then S plus Q by 2 delta T, that also can be determined. That can be plotted. S plus Q by 2 delta T with elevation can be plotted. So these two plot, if you have, we can plot this curve also. This curve also we can plot. Okay. So here, if you can determine S plus Q by delta 2, this S2 plus Q2 by 2 delta T, if we have this value, then from here the elevation can be determined, and from the elevation already we have this plot, elevation versus, sorry, this one Q. Okay, from that particular elevation, this elevation, here the discharge can be estimated, means the Q2 can be estimated. So repeat the entire procedure to complete the route. Okay, so we'll solve one problem, then whatever the doubts that can be clear. Here one small reservoir has following storage elevation relationship. Okay, storage elevation S versus E, that is given. Means here we can plot easily S and E. We can plot. Okay. A spillway provided with a crest at elevation is 60 and has the discharge relationship. Means here the discharge relationship, that means outflow relationship with the elevation is given for that spillway. Okay, as I told that for different spillway is different, but a particular spillway is remains constant. So here the outflow means Q and elevation, that is can be plotted using this equation. That can be plotted. When reservoir elevation is at 58 meter, a plot as given below, means this plot enters the reservoir. Means this is the inflow hydrograph that enters when reservoir elevation is at 58. Means initial storage can be determined from at 58. Okay, if corresponding to 58 elevation, the initial storage can be determined. And corresponding to that 58, the Q1, the discharge can be determined. So from S and Q, yes, that is the S1 and Q1. So that is this one, this S1 and Q1. So this value can be determined, and inflow for that time, initial time step 0 to let 0 to 6. Okay, so I1 plus I2 by 2 means this plus this by 2, that can be determined. So next this S2 plus Q2 by 2 delta T can be determined. Once you determine this, okay, since SQ for the same set of E, we can plot S plus Q by 2 delta T versus elevation, that also can be determined. This plot can be determined using these two curves. So this, once we calculate this value, then the elevation here, corresponding elevation can be determined from this curve, and from the corresponding elevation, this, okay, this is the elevation, here Q is the object, that is the Q2. Okay, like this for all time steps, the Q and T is plotted. At last the Q versus time is plotted. Okay, so here in this case the inflow hydrograph is given. Okay, inflow hydrograph is plotted. First it is plotted, it is given. Storage elevation versus storage, using this data, using this table, this plot is carried out. Okay, and here using this equation, Q equal to 15h to the power 3 by 2, so this curve is plotted. That is the elevation versus discharge. Here elevation versus storage. Okay, so for same set of elevation, if you take, we can determine for same set of elevation corresponding S and Q is determined and it is calculated, and S plus Q by 2 delta T, that is plotted with elevation. Okay, so this plot is required, this plot is required, and inflow hydrograph is required before routing. And this plot we can determine using these two, this plus this, using these two plot, this can be plotted. Okay, after plotting this, next is routing. So next here let here 0 to 3 using 3 hour gap, we can routing. Okay, 6 hour gap, 9 hour, 6 hour gap we can be done, but for the better accuracy, a 3 hour done. Okay, let's do it at 3 hour gap. So inflow is given at 6 hour gap, but we can do at 3 hour gap. Okay, it's not a problem. Okay, 3 hour gap we can do, any hour gap, 6 hour gap we can do, because once curve is plotted at any time, the discharge can be determined here. So here you see at 0 to 3, at 0 time 0 and time 3 hour, I1, I2 can be obtained from this curve. I1, I2, 0 to 3, these two value, I1, I2 is plotted, is obtained, and the average value of I1 plus I2 by 2 delta T, okay, is calculated. It is in terms of 1000 value, 121.5 into 10 to the 3 meter cube. Okay, so this is determined. Next, initial value. How to get the initial value? This 58 meter, at this level the inflow is entering, means this inflow hydrograph is entering into the reservoir. So at this elevation, the S is obtained from this curve, 58. So 58 means this value. So this value is, yes, that is here it will be nearly 650. Okay, initial S1. So here corresponding to that 58, the Q1 is 0. Q1 is 0. So now Q1 is 0 and S1 is 650. So S1 minus Q1 by 2 delta T into the 3, if you do, it will be 650. If you just calculate, then it will be 650. And S2 plus Q2 by 2 delta T into 10 to the 3 using the that hydrologic equation. Okay, this column and this column is added to get this column. 121.5 plus 650, it will give you 771.5. Okay, so now we obtain this value for the first time step, 771. Now what is Q2? 771. 771 is, Q2 will be, okay, here Q2. For this curve already you have calculated. So from this S curve cubed by 2 delta T, which is 771.5, it will be somewhere here, 771 somewhere here, calculate here some 59 something. So here it will be 0. 59 means it will be 0. So Q2 will be 0. But the next time step 3 to 6, I1 and I2 is obtained from inflow hydrograph here. From this 3 to 6, using these two value, the average value is obtained, this one. And here the elevation, this elevation was, yes, 771.5 was the S2 plus Q2 by delta T. And that elevation, from that elevation we start 0 to 3, at end elevation at 3 inflow. Okay, elevation was how much? Something you can obtain something 59 or something. So at that point Q1 is 0. Here it is 0. Okay, and S1 we can determine. S1 is obtained, that is 771. It will be 771. 51, it will be nearly 771. This value. 771. Okay, so using S1 and this Q1, again we can determine this S1 minus Q1 by 2 delta T. and this is obtained by adding this value and this value. This value 974. So 974 somewhere here, okay, somewhere here. So this corresponding elevation is 60. So at this time step 3 to 6, the elevation is 60. So we can make another column for elevation. It is better to plot write the elevation. It will be better because everything is linked to the elevation. The S, Q, and the S plus Q, this value, S plus Q by delta T, everything is linked to the elevation. So elevation, we should plot another, that is here it is something 59 something it was initially, okay, and here it was how much, elevation was something is 60, elevation is 60. So at 60 elevation, okay, Q2 we have to determine. So 60 elevation, what is 60 elevation, the Q2 is 0, so it is 0, okay. So for the next time step, we should start from that elevation, from that previous time step, because 6 to 9 at 6 implode, okay, 60 is the elevation, so you should start from that 60 elevation. So for the 60 elevation, so 6 to 9 implodes you can obtain from this curve, and obviously we can obtain, and 60 corresponding to 60, the Q1 was 0, this is 0, and S1 is 974. S1 is here corresponding to 60, S1 is here, it will be nearly, it will be 974. Okay, so 974. This value plus this value will be this value. So corresponding to this S plus Q by 2 delta T, okay, this curve if you see, what is this value is 1306. 1306 means somewhere here, 60, somewhere here 61, 1300. So it will be in 61, I think 61. Okay, so 61 if we take, this is the 61. So from this curve 61, at 61 the value is nearly 15 or something, okay, 15 or something, that's 13, okay, that is 13, coming 13. So now for the next time step, again we have to see the 61 elevation. Corresponding to this 61 elevation, we have to see the storage Q1 and we have to write this 13. 61 elevation, the S1 is 61 elevation, S1 is here, it is some, it is I think some value in between this one, it will be 61, it will be something 1300, 1200 something, okay, whatever be, okay, that value, that is the S1, and here Q1 corresponding to 61, the Q1 is something in here, that is this 13. So here it will be this value 1165 is calculated. So 1165 plus this value will be this value. Corresponding to this value, again the elevation, okay, what is this value, 1659, somewhere here it will be somewhere this value 61.5 something, okay, so you have to write here 61.5 like this. So like this whole time step the routing is carried out, okay. So for every time step we have to see that for every time step the previous elevation we have to check, and corresponding to that elevation the S1 and Q1 is obtained from the plot, and this S1 minus Q1 by 2 is obtained, okay, these values are obtained, and this value and for that particular time step the IO average inflow value we will just add it to these two and we will get the S2 plus Q2 by 2 delta T, and using the plot of this S2 plus Q by 2 delta T versus elevation, again elevation is obtained and corresponding to that elevation Q is obtained, okay. Like this for all the time step it is carried out, okay. So this is about hydrologic reservoir routing. Thank you so much.